Good morning, everyone. Welcome and thank you for joining us here today. Saskatchewan pulse growers and Limagrain field seeds are excited to announce a new collaboration for pulse breeding in Saskatchewan. This new collaboration between SPG and Limagrain has a strong commercial focus and will bring new and additional investment into pea and lentil breeding locally in Saskatchewan, increasing competition and creating a strong environment to foster innovation. Developing new and better performing varieties of peas and lentils is the focus of the breeding collaboration. Farmers' priorities and greatest production challenges are at the forefront of the breeding program, with major areas of focus including herbicide tolerance in lentils, resistance to root disease in peas and lentils, increased protein content, and overall improvement in yield performance under varying conditions. Breeding will take place in Saskatchewan and for the benefit of Saskatchewan producers. SPG is excited to begin new breeding collaborations with multiple partners, including public and private breeding organizations. Today we announce this new collaboration with Limagrain Field Seeds to develop and commercialize pea and lentil varieties for Saskatchewan farmers. Both SPG and Limagrain will contribute germplasm, funding, and knowledge to this collaboration. While investment in pulse crop breeding is not new for SPG, this is a new collaboration model for us, collaborating with a farmer-led cooperative in Limagrain. As farmer-led organizations, we have many shared values, including long-term view, a farmer focus, and a focus on farmers' most important priorities. This new partnership builds on Saskatchewan growers' past success by bringing additional pulse breeding capacity to the province, additional investment, as well as competition and choice for pulse varieties for farmers. We see tremendous opportunities for pulses for the future and several major challenges as well. These opportunities and challenges require more resources, more breeders, and more collaborations to make large gains in yield, tackle challenging root issues, and develop additional herbicide tolerance traits for pulse crops. Our board established two key principles for SPG investment in pulse breeding for the future. The first is to take an investor mindset. This means that if SPG is going to invest, grower levies up front, a portion of revenues from the commercialization of those varieties will need to flow back to SPG for reinvestment into research, breeding, market development, or other areas. The second principle is value sharing to ensure the value of the new varieties remain in growers' pockets. We want to avoid a situation where most of the incremental value in new varieties is captured in the cost of the seed. By collaborating and investing, SPG can ensure that growers' voice is at the table when breeding priorities are discussed and when commercialization decisions are made. Before we move into our program, I'd like to turn your attention to a brief video we've prepared to introduce this new collaboration.
Saskatchewan pulse growers and Limagrain Field Seeds are excited to announce a new partnership for pulse breeding in Saskatchewan. This new partnership has a strong commercial focus, which will bring new and additional investment into pea and lentil breeding locally in Saskatchewan, increasing competition and creating a strong environment to foster innovation. Breeding will take place in Saskatchewan with a focus on delivering innovative varieties to Saskatchewan producers. Limagrain is a farmer-owned cooperative with a farmer-based board of directors. Saskatchewan pulse growers and Limagrain are both focused on the long-term success of this program and how it impacts grower profitability, while being dedicated to being led by the priorities of growers to solve their largest production challenges. A technology-driven commercial focus will lead to higher-performing varieties being made available to producers more quickly by deploying all available technology to both shorten the breeding cycle and accelerate seed production. The partnership has been established to deliver high value to Saskatchewan producers with new and better performing varieties of peas and lentils, while addressing production constraints such as root rots, herbicide tolerance, and overall yield performance. Together, Saskatchewan pulse growers and Limagrain look forward to creating the building blocks toward more profitable production for Saskatchewan growers.
I'd like to now introduce Tatiana Henry, COO with Limagrain Cereal Seeds and Limagrain Field Seeds.
Dear partners, friends, and peers. Welcome to our collaboration celebration. It's a big day for us. So we could have imagined that it will be much faster route, and we will announce this collaboration like 6 months ago. But finally we are here, and I'm here to present you 3 kind of questions and arguments why we decided to go together. So first question is, why peas and lentils? Second one, why Saskatchewan? And third one, why collaboration with SPG? Oops. So why peas and lentils? It's because we would like to deliver in the market needs for plant-based protein. So Limagrain has a strategic commitment towards plant-based proteins. Integrated chain from field to food ingredient is extremely important for Limagrain Group. We have a bright example of that by Limagrain cereal ingredients in France. So it's one of the most important supplier of food ingredients in Europe. And we also have an integrated chain inside of Limagrain Co-op, is second largest European baker, Jacques Brossard, for which we breed the varieties, then transform the grain to flour, and then bake the bread. So it's extremely important for us to understand all food chain and how valuable is food ingredient is for the transformation partners. So there is a very strong global trend towards the plant-based proteins. Consumers want to have more sources of plant-based proteins, and today the main source of plant-based protein is soybean, and peas and lentils can be an extremely valuable alternative for the human health. So Limagrain wants to build on more than 30 years of experience in pea breeding, and now do this breeding here in Saskatchewan. So next question is, why Saskatchewan? We, as a cooperative Limagrain Group, always build extremely strong local commitment. Saskatchewan is at the heart of global pulse production. It's the most important region in the world for pulses. So Limagrain is committed to the plant breeding in Saskatoon starting in 2015 by creating, together with Cantera Seeds, a breeding program for spring wheat. So now we would like to build on this expertise already developed in cereals. Now, time to build this expertise in pulses. So it's a very strong complementarity between cereals and pulses for crop rotation for Saskatchewan growers. And the last most important question is, why collaboration with SPG? It's no-brainer for me, for a simple reason that we share the same growers' values. Limagrain is owned by farmers and led by farmers, and SPG are the farmer-led organization, and we share common values, like first one is progress, creating value for farmers, industry, and consumer through technologies. Perseverance, long-term vision for future generation of farmers, and we never give up in front of difficulties. We know that everything changing one day, like a weather. Cooperation, working with our partners in a spirit of respect. And Limagrain Group is international cooperative. We have representations in more than 150 countries, and we have more than 80 collaborations and partnership across the world. We know how to do partnership, and we promise you that it will be for your benefit. So now I would like to introduce you Dr. Jason Reinheimer, Head of Cereals and Pulse Research for Limagrain Field crops.
Thanks, Tatiana. Great to be back in Saskatoon. Spent 6.5 years here and been away for 1 month, and I've been missing it dearly, so great to be back. You really turn on the weather, so thank you very much. Today, what an exciting day. We get to officially launch this project, this collaboration between SPG and Limagrain. Some of you may know me from my work with LCRC. As I said, 6.5 years ago, came over here and set up a project in conjunction with Cantera Seeds, our valued partner here in Western Canada. And so now I never really envisaged that we would be at this point where we're now talking about peas and lentils and talking about the next step in our ability as an organisation to have a positive impact on delivering superior varieties or high-performing varieties to Canadian farmers. So really exciting. As you may or may not know, my current role is the Global Head of Cereals and Pulses Research for the Limagrain Field Seeds. So I've also got 3 questions. One is, what are our breeding objectives or what are our priorities? So this is a research project. First and foremost, this is a breeding program that we're building or have built. So just want to talk a little bit about setting the breeding priorities and how we're going to do that, how we're actually going to do the breeding and research, so what means we're going to use to actually deliver on what we're planning to do here, on our objectives, and just some comments on about why we think we're going to make a huge difference here in Saskatchewan and for Western Canadian producers and farmers. So breeding priorities. So this is where it starts in any breeding program. And the beauty of this collaboration is that we have Saskatchewan pulse growers helping direct what our priorities are. And so this is exciting because the farmers' needs, the farmers' wants get fed to us live, and we're able to deliver, prioritise, react, invest, take risk if needed to deliver on the priorities of Saskatchewan growers. And so that's an important part of this collaboration, I believe, and one of our key success factors. So as I mentioned, farmer needs obviously driven by SPG in collaboration with our breeders and researchers. So, the key ones there in any breeding program: yield, disease resistance, quality, traits. But, there are some really big challenges we have in peas and lentils right now. Phanomyces is one of those. And just to be able to have the sharp focus that Saskatchewan pulse growers have ensured that we have on this particular issue, and being able to actually develop a really pointed and a delivery-focused mindset on something like this, I think is really important. Inequality, we talked about before with Tatiana about some of the linkages within the supply chain that we have, and there's some real opportunities in pulse crops currently, and we want to continue to partner and explore these. And so really want to listen to end users and make sure we deliver on market needs. And we're all about technology. I'm a bit of a tech nerd myself. Our team sitting over there are very much about applying technology to have variety-focused outcomes, and so that's a key aspect to this collaboration and this breeding program. So the other thing is, we're not at a standing start. We've been working with peas and lentils in conjunction with SPG for 2 years now, or 1.5 years now. Peas have been in the ground, this is its 2nd year now, and lentils, for the people who come out for the field tour, get to see and smell and taste, if you like, the research in action. So, this is happening, this is live, and this is something that we'll be delivering very soon. So we also have access to germplasm from Europe. So we have an active pea breeding program that for some time, which also are very linked into all of the research that's happening around the world in peas. And so we're able to bring the germplasm traits and technologies from that breeding program and combine it with the germplasm from SPG. And so, the really great thing about being a multi-crop company in Limagrain means that, we work across crops, some that are large, some that are high value, some that are smaller, some that are regional. However, the investments we make in technology for some of the larger crops, we're able to leverage that into some of the smaller crops. If you look at it from a global context, so peas and lentils are smaller from a global context, but we have the technology developed, and we can just very quickly, we are applying this to the research and breeding program. So some of these are like genomics tools, like genomic selection is a big one. Game changer in our industry and something that we're applying very quickly to these crops. Other phenotyping technologies, rapid cycling or speed breeding, we're able to achieve up to 8 generations a year in wheat now with our speed breeding, and something that we really applying to the pulse crops as well. So. And also, we have access to traits and other trait technologies. And so, peas and lentils for Saskatchewan growers and Western Canadian growers are going to really benefit from this. So why do we think we're a good partner, or why we're going to make a difference? And I'm confident we are. And so, we're all about delivery. The technology, the research that we work on within our industry, unless the seed, the technology is in the seed, unless it's in the farmer's hands and in the farmer's fields, it's not realised. And so, our priority is to make sure that, all the investment that we've done over the years is packaged up in superior genetics and delivered to farmers fast. And so we have an integrated breeding program, split between the early generation technologies all the way through to seed and delivery. And you'll see that in the field tour live and some of the exciting things the team are doing. So yeah, more innovation, that's good. More people working in this space, I think, is really good. Competition is good. And so, having another entity working in this space in Saskatchewan means that, more brains, more investment, and more approaches to solving some of the big issues we have in these crops and delivering, value. And, the ultimate success is the adoption of varieties, or the new varieties that we develop. And so that will be the key measure, I guess. But, with what we're able to assemble in terms of the talented team and what we'll continue to assemble, the technologies we have access to, both, globally as well as locally, and our mindset and our focus and the key guidance and input from SPG, I think we're set up for a lot of success into the short, medium term, long-term future. So thank you very much. So now I'd like to introduce Carl Potts, Executive Director for SPG, to say a few words.
Thanks, Jason, and good morning, everyone. We're very excited this morning to launch this new pulse breeding collaboration today with Limagrain. And there's a number of factors that attracted SPG to Limagrain as a collaborator and as a partner on this. First, the two organizations have a lot of similar values, being farmer-led organizations, and that's come out in some of the comments already. Second, Limagrain has a strong interest in Saskatchewan. As Jason has mentioned, they have a Saskatoon-based cereals breeding program, and the pulse breeding program is being built, here as well. So we want to be very, clear that this, partnership, this collaboration is really about being focused, in on Saskatchewan and delivering value for Saskatchewan farmers. Limagrain has a strong focus on farmers as well. They have a commercial focus, as Jason had talked about, and really has an eye on the traits that are most important to growers. So getting varieties in the hands of farmers quickly is a key priority and is one of those other factors that really attracted us to Limagrain as a partner. So we're very confident in Limagrain as a new partner for SPG to deliver new varieties for growers. And with this new collaboration, SPG is charting a new course, building on the success of the pulse industry to date. And there's some in the room here that have played a significant role in developing the pulse industry to where it is today. This course is different than the breeding and commercialization model that Saskatchewan farmers have known. But this new model, with additional breeders and additional investment, is really what we need to tackle the challenges and the opportunities both of today and for the future. We need investment and involvement from additional players and a climate to encourage and support new investment in pulses in Canada. So to create this stable investment environment, we'll need to transition from the royalty-free commercialization model in the past to a model where breeding organizations generate royalties from the release of new varieties like they do in other crops, and in other jurisdictions as well. So growers will choose which varieties they grow, and revenues will then flow to breeders who create the varieties that farmers choose to grow. The collaboration that we're announcing here today is one of what we expect will be several new pulse breeding collaborations for SPG. So we really envision ourselves making investments with multiple organizations, again, to help bring and deliver new varieties to farmers as quickly as we can. I know pulse growers in Saskatchewan have a strong and long history of creating a vision and leading the way, and we feel that we really need to provide that leadership for the future, and this is part of what we're talking about here today. So once again, we're very excited to announce this new collaboration. We very much look forward to this collaboration delivering increased value to farmers, new pea and lentil varieties for Saskatchewan growers for the future. So that really brings us to the close of our formal program here today. If there's any media that would like to ask some questions, we'll move to a media scrum here with all four of today's speakers just off to the side of the podium here today. Everyone in attendance is also welcome to join us for our plot tour and lunch just outside of Saskatoon to see this year's pea and lentil plots in action. We have a shuttle arranged, and it'll be departing in about 15 to 20 minutes, just outside the main doors, just behind you back there, with return transportation after lunch. So please also help yourself to a water bottle before you depart today. I think they're on the table just behind the chairs here today. So once again, I just want to thank everyone for joining us here today for this exciting announcement, and really want to thank all of our staff, and board of directors, as well as our colleagues at Limagrain for all the hard work to date, and we're really excited about all the work for the future. Thank you very much.